You know, the funny thing is, I actually had a chance to get the GameCube version of this game a very long time ago, and hell, I think it was at an EB Games, which, fuck, that makes me feel old, because those don't really exist anymore here in America. Well, kind of. EB Games is a child company of GameStop, but they were around for a very short time here in America. There was actually one very close to where I live currently, but that was a bar. But hey, we're not talking about the history of retail stores. We're here to talk about a game starring one of gaming's favorite number 2. This wasn't the first game to star him though. That would actually go to Luigi's Hammer Toss, but we're talking about consoles, and that will actually have to go to the strangest of Nintendo's releases, that being 1992's Mario is Missing. Not just released on the SNES, but also the PC and Mac. Though for some reason, I don't know, 1 year later on the NES. Again, don't really know why, but this series of Luigi's games specifically, I think people really love, and it's not hard to see why, because even though I just started playing this game at the time of writing, it's fun. Though it's definitely not built for the 3DS, at least not without the Circle Pad Pro. I would buy it just for this game, but I wouldn't be able to use it while recording footage anyways, since I'm using a regular 3DS with a capture board. It wouldn't fit even if I bought it for this model. And if you don't know, getting a 3DS capture card from Lupi changes its dimensions a small amount, so getting one for the original model is out of the question, and if Katsukity was still up in operation, I think it would block access to the port. The reason why I brought up the Circle Pad Pro is because the game is compatible with it, and I just hate dealing with motion controls. Trust me, buy the Circle Pad Pro, get yourself an extra control disc, because it will actually help. And as I said in my Splatoon 1 and 2 reviews, I really don't like motion controls, at least not anymore. Though I will get into that in the actual review. Now, this game was shown off at Nintendo's Space World event, though only as a tech demo. I don't exactly know why they decided to make it a game. They did have some interesting ideas for it. Hell, one of the concepts for the game had it as an RPG. Though when we got to the ghost part, there was some stuff that got dropped. Like for instance, there was originally a time limit. Once you hit midnight, that was it, game over, and oddly enough, riding on the Poltergust during the Colossus boss fight, which oddly enough was kept in the PAL version of the game. Why? I have no clue, though that was only in the second mansion. Though the biggest thing that caught me off guard, thanks to watching Beta 64, I found out that the team working on this requested the C-Stick on the GameCube controller, which was neat, though what's not neat is the original control scheme. For whatever reason, they decided to use the C-Stick to move around and not the control stick. Now, I know nowadays that was unheard of, but damn, in hindsight, I don't know why they decided that idea. Regardless, when the game was finally released, it was praised, though the critics hated its short length. I mean, I do agree in the fact that this is a fun game, though the length is just alright. But then again, that's the short version of my review, so let's go in a little deeper with my review of Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, at times I feel like I'm getting worse and worse at these intros. Now, this is probably going to be a short video, mainly because, well, the story is, well, non-existent. I mean, this is a Mario game, well, technically a Luigi game, but at this point, what's the difference? On a dark and stormy night, Luigi won a mansion from a contest that he did not enter. I mean, just, wow, that's not suspicious at all. Once he enters, he finds out things aren't as nice as that man in the van said it would be. Because it turns out, this house is haunted. Well, except for this mad scientist, Professor E. Gadd, making his first appearance if I'm not mistaken. And he reveals that this mansion, well, quite literally just appeared the other day, and the contest Luigi won was most likely a fake. Well, I say most likely, but it was fake. However, EGAT enlists Luigi's help to rid the mansion of the ghost. While exploring, Luigi finds a whole bunch of boos locked away in King Boo, the orchestrator of the whole entire thing, even using this mansion to kidnap both Luigi and Mario, capturing Mario first since, well, he went to see the mansion. King Boo's plans aren't just to capture the Mario Bros, but to also revive the King Koopa himself, Bowser. However, in the end, King Boo and Bowser meet the wrath of Luigi the Ghostbuster, and EGAT commissions Luigi a new home with all the funds he collected during the trip. You know, I'm kinda shocked that Luigi resorted to grave robbing, but hey, you gotta pay the bills somehow. The story's alright, but probably not why one would play a Mario game, so let's get into the gameplay. Luigi is, well, a Ghostbuster in this non-linear experience. He's equipped with a Poltergust 3000, a special vacuum that allows Luigi to suck up any and all ghosts that comes his way. In the 3DS version, you're able to select from either the original flashlight from the GameCube version, or the shotgun flashlight from Dark Moon. It's really called the Strobel, or however the fuck you pronounce it, but the reason why I said shotgun is because it kind of functions like one. It makes it easier to get a whole bunch of ghosts stunned at once, and if you're wondering which one to use, well, that's more up to your personal preference. Considering I did 2 playthroughs, one with a regular flash and the other with a shotgun, both are good options, and if you're a newer player off the heels of Dark Moon or 3, the original controls is, well, really all you need. I mean, the game was designed with this control scheme in mind, though using the shotgun isn't a bad idea either because of how much area it covers. You can get a good chunk of ghosts in one shot, allowing you to suck them all up in one go, though I have issues with it, and that's when it comes down to ghosts spawning in. I believe the room has to be completely dark for ghosts to spawn in, at least spawn in faster. And while using this mode, the ghosts took longer to spawn in because there's still light coming from the flashlight. From what I saw, there is no way to turn this flashlight off, and it was a pain just to get these fuckers out of hiding. I think I had to walk around in certain spots to get them to spawn when I didn't have to with the original flashlight. This also hurts me with some of the portrait ghosts, like that dancing dead couple. Wow, that sounded darker than I thought it was gonna be. Fuck. You have to wait until they perform a specific move in the performance, and you have to be on this turntable thing. It makes it hard since you have to hit them with a flashlight, and with the flashlight charging, you'll be locked in one direction, meaning you have to hold down the B button to turn. Keep in mind, I have fucking Hulk hands, and the 3DS that's modded is so small. So small. It just feels so awkward to control when I have to hold down 2 buttons. There's probably something I'm missing when it comes down to this. I mean, this scheme does get the job done, and if you're used to it, then go ahead. It's not my cup of tea, and I heavily prefer the original flashlight controls. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic option that will allow you to get more than one ghost easier than the normal flashlight, but again, not for me. But if you think this control scheme is good, then, well, go ahead and play it. Though, regardless, catching ghosts is, well, pretty easy once you catch them off guard. With a flashlight, you have to hit them with a vacuum cleaner. When you're sucking them up, all you have to do is pull in the opposite direction. It's really fun to fight back against these guys, though I swear at times it gets a little too crazy. One of the examples is, well, the boss fights, because, well, these guys will give you your only challenge. Well, I guess technically mini bosses, but anyway, it's not the point. There aren't many bosses that I have an issue with, but the one I really do not like is the Clockwork Soldiers. These 3 gave me the most issues for whatever reason. Probably because there was like 3 of them attacking me at once. They don't move that fast, which I am grateful for, but I guess my main issue is with the control disc. It just slips out of my fingers way too much, and it can be pretty hard to reel in the ghosts this way. I had a much more easier time with the control stick while playing the GameCube version for this reason. It was easier to trap these guys in corners while sucking them up. Slim Bankshot, he also gave me hell. This guy makes me never want to play pool ever again because hitting him fucking sucked on 3DS. I had an easier time on GameCube because I didn't have to deal with the motion controls. Bear with me, I will get to it. But this asshole, oh lord, he was way too slow. He will take his time going over to this damn pool table, and if you miss each shot, you have to wait until this floats all the way back to the damn start. The thing that really hurts is that this guy is optional in the GameCube version, yet required in the 3DS version. I also had issues with this ghost. I think her name is Nana, and they're the same issues I had with Mr. Bankshot, and that's hitting her with the fucking yarn balls only because it's fucking annoying. I mean, I posted my issue with the 3DS version on Twitter, but fuck me, the GameCube version gave me hell as well. It's just shooting her with these damn things is the issue. Other than that, she's piss easy, just like a lot of the ghosts in the game. Major bosses, well, they can be cheap. I mean, come on, Chauncey, that was a victory, and you fucking know it. But they were fun. Well, maybe except for the Colossus boss fight, but then again, that's a Space Invaders issue when you get down to just one enemy left. Though, speaking of which, the fun stops with the booze, and no, a Super Crown won't fix my issues. At first, capturing these guys isn't that hard, because, well, they don't have that much HP. But when we get up to the ones with 100 HP or more, that is when I rage. Part of the issue is because, unlike ghosts, boos don't experience the vacuum effect that the poltergust gives. Now, that wouldn't be so bad, but these guys can and will escape from the current room, and that's where my issue comes from, because, again, they can and will go into rooms that you can't even enter yet, not to mention the lack of doors, forcing you to have to take the long way around when the devs probably could have added more doors when you unlock new areas. I mean, I don't know, it just bugged the hell out of me because it got so annoying to have to go from room to room, getting these assholes into the damn vacuum. If this is what the Ghostbusters had to go through, then I'm glad ghosts aren't real. Now, they are required to get to the final boss of the game, which I'm glad that I ain't living in Europe, because for whatever reason in that version, you need to have all 50 boos to get in. Though, I'm actually shooting myself in the foot with that complaint, because I got all 50 boos in both versions, but that was only for this stupid golden diamond. I'm just not a fan of catching these guys, but hey, at least it's not this part. I think every Luigi's Mansion fan bitched about it, and well, here I am adding to it because this was the most tedious thing I have ever experienced in my fucking life. It is way too easy to miss. And this is where the motion controls bug the hell out of me. When I thought I had the thing angled perfectly, the game told me, "No, dumbass, aim a little lower." It took me 11 fucking shots, and the best part is that the 3DS version adds a laser sight to the damn thing to make aiming easier. Now, let me explain why this doesn't work that well. A laser sight is supposed to hit something, like if you ever shot a gun with a laser sight or played Resident Evil 4 or 5, you would know that it would have to hit something. You would know that it would have to hit something along the way to know you're on the right target. Not here, and what bugs the hell out of me, and to make matters worse, it somehow hurt me more than it would help, because in the GameCube version, I hit the planet on the first fucking try. If I remember, I'll upload the raw footage so y'all know I ain't with y'all, because I wouldn't be surprised if someone did think that the short I uploaded could have been a little clearer, so I could have covered my tracks, but again, for whatever reason, it was fucking easier on the GameCube version. Still, this section just pissed me off, and I wouldn't be surprised if it just flat out murdered a really good speedrun. Now, exploration of the mansion is really linear, and that's a bit of a disappointment. There is a lot of locked doors, though unlike Silent Hill, you can open every door except for one. There's optional rooms, but for a majority of the game, I guess it acts a hell of a lot like Rule of Rose, and wow. This review just got a hell of a lot darker really fucking quick, like faster than when I mentioned the dead couple. Well, at least we don't have to deal with the true evil in this world. Children. Well, jokes aside, while you don't have a dog leading you around, at least not yet, Luigi will find a shit ton of keys that will open up specific doors. You'll only get one at a time, and that's where my main issue comes from. Then again, this is also where my love of Resident Evil comes in, mainly Resident Evil Remake, Remake 2, and 7, because while those games can be linear, it did allow you to make your own choices on where to go, even if it's the same places you had to go regardless. That's primarily because there is a good amount of doors that are already unlocked. There are doors that are locked with specific keys, and depending on the game, you'll either need a lockpick or a small key to open them up. I mean, it's not a bad system here, but I'm just reminded a hell of a lot of Resident Evil while playing. I mean, I don't think you can blame me because of the door transition screen and, well, the setting. However, the upside is the fact that the game is short, so I can understand not having a big exploration fetch quest thing where we need to find 4 things to get to a guest house. That's totally not a top secret lab. I mean, that shark is a pet, officer. I don't know what you're talking about. It's more of a disappointment than anything else, though traveling gets to be a bit of a pain in the ass because, well, because of the elemental powers. I mean, there are times where you need a specific element to continue, and most of the time it's really not an issue, but when you have to fight an elemental ghost, that's where it becomes a bit of a problem, because I tend not to have the required element to counteract them, and it's only like 2 areas in my experience that had the necessary element, and that meant all the other times I had to double back, and well, waste time. I mean, this isn't a big issue. It just got really annoying. I just wish we had these powers on us at all times where we could swap between them with a cooldown meter. Now, I would talk about the amiibos now, but I can't really show them off since I don't have an NFC reader. Just in general, I'm not a fan of locking stuff behind these amiibos, but what do I know? I bought from a fucking scalper for that Skyloft amiibo. The only other 3DS exclusive is a 2-player mode that allows you and a friend to do time attacks. Don't do this at all. The frame rate is horrible, and the load times suck since you have to go through the 3DS download and play. It's not worth it, like, at all. The graphics in both versions are, well, great, especially in the GameCube version, which I'm shocked this was a launch title for the system. It looks really good, not just for GameCube standards, but for modern standards as well, in my opinion. It has really good lighting, and the atmosphere in this version is, well, fantastic. Seriously, if this was a full-out horror game, it would be awesome. It'd probably rival some of the horror games I already mentioned in this video. Though if another dog dies, I'm gonna be livid. I just love the GameCube graphics, but that's not to say the 3DS graphics aren't bad either. There's a lot more detail in this version while the lighting is still the same. I think there's something lost in translation with the ghosts. It's a little hard for me to explain. While the ghosts are still somewhat transparent, in some cases they still look a little solid. The aura around them is also something I don't like either. It looks like someone just took a spray tool and MS Paint and just traced around the ghosts. Though in some cases it kind of looks like that in the GameCube version, but the GameCube version is better at hiding it. Then again, it could just be the limitations of 3DS, or it could just be me blowing the image up to 1080p. Then again, I still think that the game looks good on 3DS, it's just that one sticking point that kind of bugs me. Though one thing that actually caught me off guard is some slowdown during some of the cutscenes. It's very minor, and I don't think I'll be able to find it that easily in my footage. But it just more surprises me than anything else, because the rest of the game runs very smoothly. It can run at 60, so cutting it to 30 was the right call. And again, for the most part, it's just fine. The soundtrack to the game is short, but it's actually good, but I'll be damned if I can remember any of the songs aside from the main theme, and oddly enough, Totaka's song. Then again, I'm a big fan of digital gaming, so that may have something to do with it. So now, taking into account of gameplay, graphics, and sound, Luigi's Mansion gets a 9 out of 10. This was really fun, and do you think I only bought this game to expand my 3DS collection? And, well, now I'm actually kicking myself for not getting the original GameCube version when I was younger. Regardless of the bitching I did in this video, this game is really fun. Hell, this video was more of a scramble after I decided to scrap the Yasuke video because of just how much that anime hurt my head, because of how fucking horrible it is. Though I'm glad I still played this game and saw what I was missing. Though I'm not really looking forward to the next game because of the shotgun flashlight, but again, it's not a bad option, it just wasted too much of my time. I'm more inclined to play the GameCube version, but the 3DS version is still a fantastic option. I know this video is short, same with the previous sections, but I do highly recommend this game. It's awesome, and as something that was originally a GameCube launch title, it's still a very fun game that everyone needs to try at least once. Speaking of which, at this point in time, Luigi's Mansion is available on the Nintendo GameCube and 3DS. Both are good options, but please, if you play on the 3DS version, trust me, the multiplayer is not worth it at all.
Best of luck!
Oh, fuck you.
Fuck you.